is life always, right?
Yeah, this is better this way.
Hello, everyone. Hello, LinkedIn family. Happy Friday. Happy Unmuted Day. If you're just joining for the first time, this is Unmuted, a space for female leaders. I've shared before in my 20-year career, I've met some pretty amazing folks. Sorry, I have my dog over here today. Met some pretty amazing folks in my journey, and we have one of those people joining us today, Dana Cole. Super excited to have you, Dana.
Thank you.
Yeah, a little bit about me. I'm your host for Unmuted. I'm also the founder and chief strategist of Page Capacity Builders. We are a social impact consulting and coaching firm. So look us up. We have a newsletter. There's a QR code on the screen you can scan to sign up for our newsletter. And last but not least, before I hand it over to Dana, tell us where you're joining from today. It's always a lot of fun to see where folks are joining from all over the globe. So I always love that. But we're going to have a great conversation today with Dana. And I'll just hand you the mic.
Okay. So, Paige, thank you for inviting me to this conversation. I really appreciate that you consider me like one of the, women leaders in Baltimore. And what's so interesting about that is that part of my career has been like reluctant leadership. So, I have, so just a bit about me. I'm a native Baltimorean. I moved away in grad school for undergrad for a few years and then came back and finished at UMBC and worked in corporate America. I worked as from a financial analyst all the way up to assistant vice president of commercial real estate lending at yeah, right. It's the a whole career before I met you, and left banking and was the manager of corporate finance at Amtrak, and got to finance the first set of Acela uh, trains and locomotives, and yeah, really interesting career before I decided to go to grad school at Amtrak. I realized I was the only person at a manager level who did not have a graduate degree. And I'm like, if I'm going on this corporate journey, I got to go get a graduate degree. And I'm doing it so late, so I got to go to a top school. And I did. I went to MIT Sloan School of Management for an MBA and got there and was just really bitten and interested in organizational development. So I spent a lot of my classwork in that realm, like entrepreneurship, management, and organizational development. Completely let the finance side go and the real estate side go, even though that's what I said I was going to focus on. And as I was, about to exit, um, and realized that, you know what? I don't want to be an investment banker. I don't want to be a VC. I don't want to go into management consulting with the big three. Um, yeah, what am I going to do? So I decided to go home, come back to Baltimore, and use this high powered degree to help small businesses and nonprofit leaders with realizing their vision. I had a strong background in finance and administration. And then to add to that, my new knowledge in organizational development. And here we are. I've been doing that since 2002, since I came back, and have really enjoyed my career so far. So, just a little bit more, I worked at Second Chance for 5 years as director of operations, helping them grow from I guess 5.5 million to 11 million in assets and doubling the size of the staff that work there regularly, really working to improve credentialing for the people who came through Second Chance so they could leave and immediately get better jobs. And then I worked at BOPA for a while and got to experience one of our last great artscapes. I'm sorry to say, I
Well,
really loved. Huh?
share with our audience what what BOPA is?
Oh, yeah, yeah, Baltimore Office of Promotion in the Arts, which
Mhm,
is now renamed Create Baltimore.
mhm,
It was an organization, a quasi-governmental organization, or built to allow the city to accept corporate donations to uh, fundraise for festivals uh,
mhm,
and other activities to bring tourists and business to Baltimore.
mhm,
And it also houses the Arts Council of Baltimore, which it still does.
mhm,
And we've gone through some shifts. It's gone through some shifts since COVID, and some leadership changes. And
mhm.
I'm hopeful that they've come out on the other side ready to bring this very dynamic festival life back to Baltimore. And this year's Artscape was awesome. I did miss the Charm City Festival, but I'm sure that they were involved in that. And this year's AFRAM was absolutely gorgeous as well. So yeah.
Yeah, I know. We do have a lot of great festivals in Baltimore.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So
And tell us a little bit about the Impact Hub. That's where you're at now.
yeah, so that's where I am now. I've been there for about a year and about 3 months. I started there in a code leadership model and was then elevated to executive director in June of this year.
Mhm.
Impact Hub, I call it public square disguised as a co working space.
Ah, I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So we are a member community. It's supported by members um, who have the privilege of being able to use the space for co-working or
Mhm,
to host their own events, um, and to use the space for meetings and such. But we also host conversations around what is happening in the city that relates to economic development and social innovation, specifically, too, as it relates to creating a just and sustainable economy in Baltimore. The work that Impact Hub does around the world, we're about 131 Impact Hubs at this time, are within the lenses of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and in climate action.
mhm,
And so in creating this just and sustainable world, each Impact Hub takes its mission, develops their own programming and mission around that. And in Baltimore, our focus has been on economic justice for a long time.
mhm.
Um, the Impact Hub has been around, it's our 10-year anniversary in December, 10 years in the space that we're currently in. And the
Exciting.
organization is really about 12 and a half years old. And so in February, we will be having a program to really commemorate all of the change makers and innovators that have come through Impact Hub's doors over the last 10 to 12 years.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited about where we are headed. We're looking to figure out how to support people who are interested in worker owned cooperatives and people who are, as part of the base network, the Baltimore base network, which is building assets and supporting equity. And
Mhm.
this network was developed with 15 other partner organizations that support entrepreneurs. And our mission is one, to make Baltimore the easiest place to start and launch and grow a small business. And within that context, supporting those people who have been underrepresented in the business world.
Yeah.
So women and LGBTQ and Black and Brown founders, and supporting them with growing their business and creating jobs. Yeah.
I know I've done so many things at the Impact Hub myself over
Mhm.
the years, whether it's working with another organization that has an office there and spending time there in that capacity, or attending some of the community events you guys put on, or even coming to stuff that colleagues have rented the space, or just coming there and working.
Yeah.
It is a really, really beautiful, visually beautiful space that has a really good vibe. So I encourage you, wherever you're joining us from, see if there's an impact hub in your city, because there very well may be.
Hmm.
It's a really cool way to connect more with community, especially if you're looking for a space to do that. I feel like it's almost like a rec center for adults and businesses in a sense.
That's a great analogy. Yeah.
It really brings people together. It gives us the space to play professionally. I know when I come to the Impact Hub, there's always something fun on the whiteboard when you walk in to greet you, some sort of question like, not what's your favorite dessert, but they're always more interesting than that.
Hmm.
But I love spending time there, and you guys have just done such a beautiful job of creating community around the space and in the space. And so, yeah, check an Impact Hub out wherever you're at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's unfortunately, it's only maybe not unfortunately, there are six impact hubs in North America,
Mhm.
and there were 20 at one point. But
Mhm.
COVID and WeWork really took the legs out of a
Yeah.
lot of the for-profit models.
Mhm.
We're modeled as a not-for-profit,
Yeah.
as a nonprofit, and basically have been in that space the whole time. And I think that had and all the ones who survived have this nonprofit model. It's
Wow.
very interesting. So if you are interested in opening an impact hub, please reach out.
Or that. Yeah. Yeah, if you're interested
Yeah,
in
we're definitely looking to grow the network. There is a lot of work to do to help corporations and other organizations with ecosystem building to create this just and sustainable economy.
Mhm. And
That's
you
part
said
of
they
our
all
work
have
too.
their own approach and mission and way of doing the work,
Mhm.
at each different location. That's really
Yeah.
neat.
Yeah, they do. They do. One of the things that I'm really excited about coming up in this next year is that we're looking at figuring out how to provide shared back office support services
Ooh.
for, and we're looking at creatives and makers
Oh, that's awesome.
and at consultants.
Mhm.
And then we're probably going to expand that when we nail down what this pilot looks like and
Mhm.
test and continue to probe and figure out what's the best configuration to provide
Yeah.
legal support, accounting and finance support,
Mhm.
communications and marketing support.
Oh, I
And
love.
yeah, yeah. And how can we do that such that it's economical for that small business to use the service
Mhm.
to and provide wraparound education to help them understand how to grow to their next phase, because ultimately our goal is to have people um, creating equitable jobs
Mm.
for themselves, creating wealth for themselves and their family. Yeah, beyond livable wages,
Mhm.
wages where people thrive, right?
Right, thriving, not surviving. Let's
Yeah.
get on that. Yeah, I know. Well, should we dive into our questions that we have?
Okay. Okay.
Excited. I'm like love learning all that stuff about you, Dana. We've known each other for a while, and I knew you were amazing, but I had no idea about some of those experiences. It's really cool.
Oh, thank you.
And I just want to say, like, if you're listening, and you have some of those skills or you provide some of those types of services that Dana was just talking about, reach out. They're
Absolutely.
starting to think about those things, so it's an opportunity, to connect. Well, let's dive into our questions. We have a little over 15 minutes left
Okay.
together, although I know I'll see you again soon. Um, so, our first question today is, what is a mindset shift that you had along your journey that has shaped the way you lead today?
I will say I grew up and my trauma was this is such an, and it really does, this story feeds through all of my life until I distinguished it out of the background.
Hmm.
In the fourth grade, I was third in a spelling bee and I really wanted to win. And I got out on the board and someone teased me about it. And I
Yeah.
think from that point I had decided, well, I'm going to know everything. This is my goal. I need to know everything. I'm the encyclopedia. I'm the person to come to if you need the answer. And when I uncovered that and discovered that that was running the show in the background,
Mhm.
got to look at it and turn it off and realize that in my journey as a leader, I actually don't need to know everything. That the best thing is how to bring more people into the question that you're trying to solve. How can I leverage another person's lived experience and skills and knowledge to help build something better than I would have alone, knowing it all, if you will. So that shift has made such a big difference for me that I was able to, I mean, just have conversations with people to make a difference for their business, make a difference for their career trajectory, and um, actually help move forward the companies that I was working for.
Mhm.
Just pulling in other people and not being the know-it-all.
Mhm. Yeah, it's amazing how we really think we have to carry it all and we have to know everything. And even if it's from a childhood experience or wherever that experience comes from, even if it's something we're told we have to do, at one point, yeah, that's powerful because you don't. The other thing too, I mean, you're then empowering those businesses and those leaders that you're working with because you're able to share that power with them of
Mhm,
knowing things.
mhm.
Um, so they become the expert too. So that's super powerful all around.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big breakthrough. All right, our second question. What is a risk you took at some point in your career that changed everything for you? Some people
I,
have
I
multiple.
th- I think for me, the risk was not pursuing a corporate career after I
Mm,
left business school. I really was queued up to, whew, I could have joined a number of organizations. Like one of my friends joined Google before
mhm,
they went public.
mhm,
We at the time that I was in grad school, there were so many opportunities like that to join startup tech companies and be on the ground with an organization. And I just completely shifted and said, I wanted to be back home with my family. But the second thing was, there's so many people who don't have this background and experience and knowledge. And what if I were able to just, transfer what I know to them to see them excel and
mhm,
grow? And that really, that that has changed my life. I mean, I I think about, and I have lots of friends who, that I went to grad school with that are doing these huge things on an international scale.
mhm,
But I don't know, my heart felt like there was a need here in Baltimore. I've had, tragedy happen in my family that had me say, I need to make a difference in
mhm,
where I'm from and where I live. I want to come back and contribute. And
mhm.
that has made all the difference. It really has. A lot of people appreciate me and my career and how I've made a difference in their lives.
Mhm.
I have people still years later. I left Second Chance in 2018. I have people years later still seeing me on the street and saying, "Oh my God, Miss Dana, how are you doing?" And where they are and what they're doing with their careers. And
Yeah.
yeah, and it's such a fulfilling thing to know that you've made a personal difference for people who otherwise may not have had an opportunity.
Yep. Life
And
changing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. What what was When you made that decision, what was the feeling? Do you remember that you had inside? You're like, "I'm gonna go back home to Baltimore, and I'm not gonna apply for that Google job."
Yeah, I think what the feeling was a homecoming.
Mm,
It really
like a weight
was.
off your shoulders?
Yeah, it was a homecoming. I mean, it's so funny that I'm saying this because when I went to grad school, and this has been 23 years, so it's
Mhm.
been quite a while. But when I went to grad school and I first got there, I really was homesick. And
Oh,
I had lived in DC before I went to grad school. So I wasn't even in Baltimore. I was commuting to visit my
yeah.
family and such. Um, but what it felt like was I'm in the right place at the right time.
Mm,
That's what it felt like being closer to home, closer to my parents, closer to my family, and also having an exploratory um, I guess a view of exploration as far as where is my career going to go.
mm,
And so I just started going to um, workshops and panel discussions about what's happening in Baltimore, and just met people
yeah,
and talked myself into all kinds of positions,
yeah,
which
yep,
was really interesting. I mean, I met Mark Foster at an event that Elijah Cummings did
mhm,
to connect um, small business owners with financial resources.
yeah.
And someone said, "You need to meet this person." And there we go. And then we worked together for 5 years.
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, also just that pull, that heartstring pull
Yeah,
that while maybe you felt like it was a risk, like, I came here to do this thing and now I'm going out in left field in a different direction at the end of this, but that, the power that the heartstrings have, is pretty incredible, and just your desire to wanna do good. I
yeah,
remember having that feeling myself when I transitioned from, I wouldn't say like corporate, but the for-profit sector, to the social, the do good, social sector. I just wanted to contribute to something larger than a salary, larger than a paycheck for a company, or a bottom line. The bottom line's fine, but I needed something deeper than that, where I
yeah,
knew change was happening as a result of the work I was doing. Yeah, I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah, and that resonates with me as well. I mean, when I was in banking, I just was like, I'm making rich people more rich,
Yeah,
helping them buy properties for pennies on the dollar. And
yeah,
it
and
was
there's
just
children who don't
unbelievable.
have food. Yeah, it's like it's hard. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, our last question. What is, one leadership lesson that you were taught that instead of you've had to unlearn, maybe you chose to unlearn it?
Mm, mm. A leadership lesson that I chose to unlearn, I think harkens back to the first question, is that
Mm,
I don't need to know everything.
mm, mm,
And that what is important in leadership is that not that I had to unlearn this, but nothing gets done without people.
mm,
And people and your team and your customers, everything is around how how to empower the people on your team. And right now I wouldn't say struggling with this, but this is really important to the evolution of Impact Hub.
mhm,
And I really commend the people that I work with, because I know that their hearts are in the right place, and they our desire to see this just and sustainable economy come to realization. And as we create pockets of it here and there, that by melding together and creating this ecosystem of people who really care, not just to make money, but care for their community and care for um, those that they may not know, that that feeling and that's power. That's power in a collective and distributed way that has us realize that we do have the tools and the skills and the knowledge to create something that benefits everyone. And by us spreading that word and sharing about what what we all can do to create a just and sustainable economy
Mhm.
in Baltimore and have it radiate out. That's that's where the that's where the meat of the matter is, essentially. When I think about another thing that I had to unlearn as a leader, it was that there's not just one way to do a thing.
Mm.
And
Yeah.
that has been that in itself, being able to hear the perspectives from other people's lived experience and being open to um, how others have tackled problems and using that to like creatively apply that to a new problem. I think that is another thing. I really thought in the past that, there's only one way to do particular things, but that's definitely not the case. And,
Mhm.
and I learned that pretty early.
Yeah,
And I think that served me a lot.
yeah, that's a really big one. I love, in workshops I do as an opening, asking everyone to draw a sunrise. And, I everyone heard the same word, but everybody's picture looks different, because there's more than one way to draw a sunrise,
Yeah.
because we all interpret things differently, perceive things differently, even though everybody heard the same word, you know? That's a big one,
Hmm.
especially when you have a team, and growing an organization.
Yeah.
And I love the visual you gave. You said, you were giving the visual of someone kind of holding all the power themselves and, explaining why that's not the way to go. But then you said to radiate out, beyond Baltimore. And it was just this like release of that holding everything and letting it go. And then it can radiate out. Because if we're holding everything, it can't
Right.
spread and grow and flourish because you're holding on to it.
Right.
Yeah, I love that.
So we're like in this phase now of building our board. And I'm just so curious as to how that's going to evolve.
Yeah.
Uh, this is the
Love that.
first. I mean, we had a board that helped us with standing up the 501(c)(3),
Mhm.
but now it's time really to find a board to help us grow and to help us strategize and put some governance around us. So, if
Yeah.
you are interested in Impact Hub and joining us to create this just and sustainable Baltimore economy where everybody wins, that is the objective. Feel
Yeah.
free. You can look me up on LinkedIn. There's a post with the application
Mhm.
link as well as a description in general of what we want for our board.
Yeah, actually, I'll repost that post so people can easily
Yeah,
find it. I saw that. Really, really good opportunity. I'm glad
yeah,
you mentioned that.
yeah. And we welcome all walks of life. Definitely, we're here for everyone.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Dana. Thank you for being here today.
This was fun. Thank
Yeah,
you.
really glad to have you. I mean, I always love our time together when we get to see each other,
Yeah.
but I learned a lot about you today I didn't know. So
I
that
got
was,
one more thing for you. I play the
tell
flute.
me.
I play the flute and sing. I forgot that part in the intro.
I knew the flute, but I did not know that you sing. You're so artistic, using all sides of your brain, finance
Yeah.
and arts.
Right?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I say I meet some amazing women. You're
Yeah.
incredible. Um,
Thank you, Paige.
yes, thank you. Thanks for joining today, and thank you everyone for joining us. And we look forward to seeing you. Well, actually, we're going to be here next week. We're having a back-to-back unmuted, so we'll
All
be back
right.
this week, and then we'll be gone for Thanksgiving. So thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful weekend.